477.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. And remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's a live show. You can call us at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. I've got a jam-packed lineup of guests for you today. You don't want to miss it. At the end of the program, I've got some tips, advice, and information. But as I mentioned, jam-packed lineup of guests, including my very good friend and colleague, Moe Vela, former senior advisor to both Vice Presidents Joe Biden and Al Gore, and the author of a brand new best-selling book, which I hope we have an opportunity to talk about. So, Mo, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Hey, Shalom. How are you? Thank you for having me again.
I'm fantastic. It's great to have you. On Thursday night, my wife and I went to a play, Annie, and as Annie said, the sun will come out tomorrow, but I don't believe we felt that way on Tuesday evening. It's just 4 or 5 days that we're past the election. What are your thoughts coming out from this very, 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 I think it's fair to say, interesting week?
Yeah, interesting, I think, would be probably a very diplomatic understatement, right?
That's right.
As I go around Washington, D.C. these last 4 or 5 days since the election, there are a lot of very sad faces. But to be really honest with you, I think the part that breaks my heart about this election is the fear. I have never seen that in my entire adult life, having been involved in the national political scene, and having experienced Al Gore's loss in 2000 up front and personal. I have never seen anything like this in the sense that people are expressing a very real fear. I got a call this morning from folks in the LGBT community. Other calls I'm hearing calls from the Latino community. Frankly, even from business owners, because nobody really knows what to expect because of the incredible vitriol and blustery language of the campaign. I think everyone is worried, frankly.
Worry is certainly a theme that I'm hearing as well. And the truth is we don't know a lot because this is a guy that has never held any elected office. The only history that we have of him is the past year campaigning, and most would argue and say that it's not a very positive history. So a term that's been thrown around quite a bit over the past week is how he's going to drain the swamp and basically start from scratch. And I think, Mo, I think we can agree that change absolutely is needed. We need to continue to make changes to improve our economy. We're a show all about small business. We need to find more creative ways to help businesses grow. But Mo, is the right way really to drain the swamp and empty out Washington and as he says, he's going to get rid of the lobbyists? You and I both agree that that's likely not going to happen.
Well, look, it was a great political slogan. I think it was nothing more than that. Frankly, because the man's actions already are the opposite. So he's not draining the swamp. He's actually in the swamp. He just literally within the last hour or two announced Reince Priebus as his chief of staff. You can't get much more in the swamp than the chairman of the Republican Party, right? And then you start looking at his list. His transition team has lobbyists on it, has a lot of Washington insiders. I've been in this city, as you mentioned in your introduction, and you were very kind with your introduction, by the way, thank you. But, listen, I've been inside this business for a long time. These are people I've been dealing with and working with for the last, 25 years. So, I think, unfortunately, he misled his supporters, right? to say he was going to drain the swamp. He's swimming in the swamp right now and shows no signs of draining the swamp. He's meeting with Paul Ryan and so on and so forth. Look, we need him to succeed. Let me make that clear. I'm one of the few Democrats you're going to hear be this pragmatic. I also think, and I intend on posting this week on social media, but I think these types of elections and when you lose like we've lost, it's not only a chance to reflect and be introspective about how they might have won, but we need to ask ourselves as Democrats, why did we lose? Because I refuse to believe that all of Mr. Trump's supporters are racist. I know for a fact that they're not, because there are people that I love and respect and admire who voted for him. I think we as Democrats have to acknowledge and own the fact that there was an anti-Hillary component to some of his supporters, in fact, a large number. So, there are a lot of factors. Mr. Comey's letter, 14 or 12 or 13 days before the election, that threw a huge dynamic into this. Then the clarification 2 or 3 days before, and the WikiLeaks. And there are about 10 or 12 reasons this probably transpired the way it did. But to act like the campaign leadership just did this week in Politico, saying that they had no responsibility for the loss and that they blamed everybody else and everything else, in my eyes, is absolutely absurd. We have to take time right now as a Democratic Party to look deep into our souls and find out, how did we not resonate with those Rust Belt white working class people?
Well, you provide a fantastic perspective. Once again, we're chatting with Moe Vela, a lawyer, government advisor, and Hispanic leader. In fact, Moe was named by the National Journal as one of the top 100 Hispanics and 300 top decision makers in the United States. And in full disclosure, Moe and I do a great deal of work together through the Vela Group, a global business development firm based in D.C., and the first Hispanic to serve in 2 senior executive roles in the White House, first during the Clinton administration and then in the office of Vice President Joe Biden. So your perspective is very, very much appreciated. And I'll go back to the election in a moment, but you actually have written a book, and it is I've seen a little sneak peek, and it's pretty fantastic. Little Secret, Big Dreams. I think this is a book that hopefully our listeners will be able to read about the days past as we drift into the Trump administration. Any tidbits of information that you can share with our listeners, and of course, how can people find the book online?
Thank you so much for talking about my book. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and it's called Little Secret, Big Dreams, like you said. It's about, it starts with the premise of equality and love and the fact that every human being, regardless of the color of their skin or the God they worship or where they come from or their socioeconomic status or any dynamic, regardless, everybody's worthy of a seat at the table of life, is how I say it. So I track my life growing up as a Latino Catholic in deep South Texas, in the Texas cowboy mentality, in the Latino machismo cultural tradition, and being told at Mass on Sunday that I couldn't be who God made me. So it tracks my life through the process of self-acceptance and self-love, only to result in making a little bit of American history, as you pointed out, and getting to walk the walls. Walk the hallways, not the walls. Walk the hallways of the White House twice, right, with 2 vice presidents, and I get to take the reader on an incredible journey that, frankly, I'm very humbled by the opportunity because so few people have had the chance, right?
Amazing. Little Secret, Big Dreams. You could find it on Amazon, I know, and pre-order.
Yes, and it actually is released on Tuesday, so today's the 13th, on the 15th. So you can order it on Amazon.com, Little Secrets, Big Dreams, and I'm so grateful to you for giving me the chance to speak to your audience a little bit about it.
Oh, and we'll continue that discussion. It's a great perspective as we move into very different administration, and your story is a remarkable one. And believe it or not, we only have 20 seconds remaining, so I'm going to ask you the million-dollar question. If, and it's a big if President-elect Trump would ask you for some advice, what would be your one sentence answer to him?
I would advise him something very simply, and that is that I think he should govern from a place of love and equality and inclusion. He campaigned on the absolute opposite. If he can get rid of the hatred, the vitriol, the division, and dividing people, and he can govern from a place of love and inclusion and equality,
there you have it.
That would be the advice I would give him.
There you have it. We appreciate it. Once again, Moe Vela, the author of Little Secret, Big Dreams, and the CEO of the Vela Group, thevelagroup.com. Check him out. Mo, my good friend, thank you so much for joining us. We'll check back in with you to talk about the book.
Thank you, Shalom.
Absolutely. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the real estate market's reaction to the recent election with Esther Kapitansky. You don't want to miss it.